Relationships, story 1. The author is very happy that his brother Mark is getting married the next weekend, and Mark is very excited too because the family, could all make it to the wedding, and he decided to buy them the first class tickets. And so they are flying out of New York the day after tomorrow. But first, the author needs to pick up his parents from Brooklyn. They are staying there at his aunt's house. And his father, of course, will make fun of him on the plane because his son is afraid he has a fear of flying overseas. But this time it is the first class, so he will, of course, he is going to take an advantage of their free alcohol policy, and so nothing will happen. What could possibly go wrong on the American airline flight? Absolutely nothing. So when they are in Paris, Mark and the author is going to Mark's friend's place because his friends are through him are throwing him bachelor party, and everybody speaks only French, and the author doesn't understand a word they say, so Mark asks to switch to English. But after a few drinks, they were no matter there. So it would, I think it won't matter at all. So they look at them, they are a bit tipsy, so it's time to listen to Mark's love story. He met Vanessa at a cafe where he goes to watch soccer games. She was waiting on him, but he was very shy. He just couldn't hit on her, and so when he asked her out one day, she answered no, because she was in a relationship with someone else, and he knows who it was. It was a bartender, Mickey. He worked not far from that place, across the road, in a bar, and he was a guy. He was a very lousy guy, and he was interested only in a fun affair. And so the author was Mark was sure that Vanessa would certainly break up with him sooner or later. And when he answered no, when he answered no to him, he was very detached, but he was very, very upset first, but then he decided to become a friend to her, because he falls in love with her at first sight, and for him it was very hard to not to see her. So they became friends, and they jogging and hiking a lot, and they bachelor shopping, and they were walking dog walking, and they saw the Star Wars. They rewatched the Star Wars together, and so he understands that this was maybe on one side. This was maybe how to say it, unrequited love. Yes, unrequited love, because he was stuck in friend zone, and as the more he see her, the more he fell in love, because now he was seeing not only a beautiful woman that inspired everyone around her, and but he saw a personality, very deep and vivid and interesting personality, with who very tender and very kind, with a lot of with big sense of humor. But things changed. One day she called and said that she and Mickey, they split up, because she found out that he was cheating on her with a girl who was his co-worker. But it turns out later this co-worker was in fact his wife, and it was awful because he was cheating on both his wife and his girlfriend at the same time. So after a couple weeks, Mark decided to go to ask Vanessa on a date, and she answered yes this time. And they had been going out, seeing out each other for maybe for several weeks, but then she had to go abroad and to get her master's degree. She was a student, and it was very hard for them to maintain this long distance relationship. But they see each other, and they talked on Skype every day, and he visited her once a month. So when she came back, he asked her to move in with him, and after that, after they began living together, there was a lot of fights. They got into a lot of fights, because when people go out with each other, they get on well. Of course, they like each other, but when they begin living together, it's different. It's something different, because it is not very easy to get used to someone else preferences and routines. And she was crazy when he left the dishes in the sink, for example, and he can't stand it when she used his closet to put her clothes, and used his shelves in the bathroom to put her cosmetics and shampoos. So and they used to have fights over household chores, like whose turn it is. It was to clean up or to cook dinner. But they were very smart enough to learn to deal with these little misunderstandings. And later, maybe 2 years later, 2 or 3 years, one day Mark was passing a toy store, and he saw a very interesting toy station with tracks and trains and not railroad. Cool, very really railroad with tracks and trains and stations, and he liked it very much. He was ready to go and to buy it immediately. But when he was staring on this toy through the window, he noticed a lady with a little boy, and he looked at this boy, and he was excited. He was excited by this station railroad. His eyes were wide open, and so he decided, it came to his mind that he wants to go to this store with his own son. So it was time to grow up and to start his own family. So instead of going to that shop, he went to jewelry and bought a ring to Vanessa. It was the most beautiful ring he could find, and he can't wait, and he booked a table in her favorite restaurant. And when they went in and ordered drinks, he got on his knee and asked Vanessa to be his wife, and she answered yes, of course, yes. And the people at the other table, they burst into applause, and this was very classic scene, you see. And so he was very happy now, but the only thing upsets the only he is very happy, I must say, and the only thing upsets him very much. Vanessa doubts if whether she want a baby, because there's lots of things to do first, and she must must prepare and get her master's degree, and she is afraid of being pregnant because she thinks she can put on weight and feel sick in the mornings. But Mark is sure, no matter how it goes, he will support her all the way.